Hello everyone, welcome to MRU E-Learning powered by Malla Reddy University. This is Inla Lingamurthy, Assistant Professor from the Department of Cybersecurity, Malla Reddy University. As a part of today's session, we are going to see foreign key constraints. Here we are going to see if we are setting a key as a foreign key, what set of rules a foreign key follows. Here if you want to define what is a foreign key is, here a foreign key is a single column or a group of columns in one table that establish a link to the primary key of the another table. So here it is used to maintain the referential integrity. What is that means? A referential integrity is it maintains a relationship between tables remains valid. So as it is following the referential integrity, just we can refer this as a referential integrity constraints also. So for better understanding of why we need to use the foreign key, here let me take a simple case study. So here just in my case study, I want to maintain the data of the faculty members. So to maintain the data of the faculty members, here I am taking a simple table. So as I am representing here I am maintaining the data of the faculty ID, faculty name and experience and the department of the faculty and subject which can taught by the faculty member and the subject name. So here if you observe in this particular table, except the subject ID and the subject name, all the remaining fields if we observe, so the data is repeated. For example, ID is repeated 3 times, name is repeated 3 times, experience and department also repeated 3 times. So here this is the duplication of the data. So to avoid this, so we need to normalize this table. So apart from this problem, here we have another problem, that is the updation anomaly. For example, if the name, whatever the name here given in this data set as Mr. A, which is not correct, so I want to update my name as AB. So whenever we want to update my name as AB instead of A, so we need to update the name in 3 different fields. Otherwise, if we update in a single record only, we are going to get some uncertain data like if I want to update my name as AB instead of A only, so with respect to the reference name of AB, if you try to retrieve the data, you will get the Java subject only. And with respect to the reference name of Mr. A, you will get the data of DBMS and OS only. So that is the inconsistency problem exists. So when we have the duplication of data. So to avoid this, as a part of normalization, so we are dividing these tables into 2 different tables. In one table, I am maintaining the fields like faculty ID, faculty name, experience and department. In another table, I am maintaining the data of faculty ID, subject ID and the subject name. So here I am considering this table as a parent table where I am having the fields like ID, name, experience and department, and I am considering this as the child table. So now according to the definition, so here whatever the child table we are having, in the child table whatever the field we are having as an ID, so this is the foreign key. Like I am referring this as a foreign key, so which is a primary key in my parent table. Okay. So now if I want to set ID as a foreign key in the child table, the primary condition as the definition said, so in the parent table ID must be the primary key. So then only just we can refer ID as a foreign key in the child table. So for example, if we want to see the sample queries, so to create a foreign key, so first I am creating a table with the name employee. So where I am having the different set of fields, there I am considering ID as my primary key. Then whenever I am creating another table with the name subjects, which is a child table, so in the child table, I want to refer that particular ID, whatever I created in the employee table as a foreign key in the subject table. So to refer that as a foreign key in the child table, here this is the statement just I am including, like foreign key of ID references the employee table ID. So here this ID is a primary key in the parent table. So this is the sample queries to create the foreign key. Now with respect to the foreign key constraints, So what, like if I am setting a key as a foreign key, what set of rules it follows, just we are going to see now. With respect to the insert operation and with respect to the updation operation and with respect to the deletion operation. So first, if we consider the insert case, first condition, like a first case in the insert case is insert into the parent first. So is that allowed or not? So for example, if we observe here, I am considering this one as the parent table, I am considering this one as the child table, where in the parent table I am having the IDs fields like ID, name, experience and the department, and in the child table I am having the fields like ID, subject ID and the subject. Now, so is that case 1 valid or not with respect to the foreign key or not? Let me check it. Like insert into the parent first. So let me assume that if I am not having any records in the parent table, now I want to insert a first record in the parent table. So is that allowed or not? Yes, it is allowed. So insertion into the parent table first, it is allowed. Now insertion into the child first, like here if you want to insert a new record here in the parent table with the 002 ID, some name with B and some experience 12, some CSE department. Yes, it is allowed in the parent table. Now, with respect to child table, if I want to insert a record first, is that allowed or not? So, you assume that we don't have any records in the parent table. So, initially I want to insert a record in the child table. So, whenever you want to insert a record in the child table, so here definitely the key whatever you are inserting in the ID field of the child table, that must already exist in the parent table ID field. So, then only it is allowed to insert a record into the child table. So here the condition 2 or case 2 is invalid, like insertion into the child table first is not valid, but insertion into the parent first is valid. Next thing, so with respect to the deletion case, now whenever you want to delete parent row referenced by child, so what is that means? I want to delete a parent row which is already referenced in the child table. Here, as this is the parent table and this is the child table, so I want to delete some record in the parent table, so which already referred in the child table. Let me take a simple case study, like here I have a record with the ID 001 and the name Mr. A and experience is 10, department is CS. I want to delete that particular record from the parent table. So is that allowed or not? So here, as we are referred that particular record in the child table, that is not allowed to delete in default case. Okay, there is some exceptional cases, but in the default case, it is not allowed to delete a record from the parent table if already you referred that in the child table. Now, if it is not referred in the child table, then is that possible to delete that particular record in the parent table or not? So this is the case 2. So, for example, if we take the second record of the parent table, that is with ID 002 and name is Mr. B and experience is 12 and department is CS. Yes, it is possible to delete the record 2 from the parent table. Why? Because as we are not referred that particular record in the child table. So, if we observe these two cases, case 1 is not possible and case 2 is, yes, that is a valid statement. That means deletion of the parent row referenced by the child is not possible. Deletion of the parent when child does not refer it is possible. Now, as I said, only in the default case, that is, but if you want, you can create some exceptional cases, like whenever you want to delete some record from the parent table which is already referred in the child table, you want to delete the referred records in the child table also. Yes, we can create that foreign key as delete cascade. So if you observe a sample query, so here foreign key of department ID references a department ID on delete cascade. Of course, here we are using the ID. So whenever you are deleting a particular record from the parent table, so if you create the foreign key as a delete cascade, so it is going to remove all the references records of the child table also. So here we can observe, if this is the record I want to delete from the parent table, that is ID with the ID 001, which is already I referred in the child table. So whenever you delete the record with the 00 ID, it is automatically deleting the all three records. Why? Because here in all three records we are referred 001 ID in the child table. So that is with respect to the delete cascade. So next thing, whenever you want to set null value, like whenever I am deleting the record from the parent table, but I don't want to delete the referenced records in the child table, but I want to set that referenced key as a null value. So using on delete set null, yes, we can set the foreign key, and then if we set the foreign key with the on delete set null, so what happens, like whenever we delete a record with the ID 001 from the parent table, now it is going to set null value here in the parent table in the field of ID, but it is not going to remove the set of fields whatever we referred in the child table. So that is the fourth case. So finally, so there are four different cases we considered with respect to the deletion case study. That is whenever we want to delete the parent row referenced by the child, it is not possible. Whenever we want to delete the parent when child does not reference it, yes, it is possible, we can delete it. And then here we can set the foreign key with the delete case study and with on delete set null also. So whenever we are setting the foreign key with the delete cascade, so it is going to delete the referenced field records in the child table also. Whenever we are setting the foreign key with on delete set null, so it is going to set the null values in the child table, but it is not going to delete in the child table. Now, so finally with the update case study. So here with respect to the update case study, what set of rules a foreign key follows? First one, update parent key not present in the child. So I want to update a parent key which is not exist in the child table. So is that a valid or not? For example, here this is the parent table and this is the child table. So in the parent table, if you observe a record with the ID 002, so here let me take this is the 01 and this is also 01, so that I am not referring in the child table. So if you are not referring in the child table, if I want to do any updation to that particular record, yes, it is possible to update in the parent table. Then case 2 is update parent key present in the child. That means I want to update a particular record from the parent table which is already referenced in the child table also. So if you want to do such type of updations, in the default case it is not possible. For example, a record with the 00 like with ID 001 in the parent table, if you want to update ID as 006 instead of 001 in the parent table, so which is not a valid statement. Why? Because already that is referred in the child table also. First next thing, but that is only in the default case. But there is another case. If you are created a foreign key with update cascade, then whenever you are updating the parent record, automatically it is going to update in the child record also wherever you referenced it. For example, so here in this parent table, if you want to update 001 and if you are created key as a update cascade, so whenever you are updating this as a 006 instead of 001, so automatically it is going to update here in 006 in the child table also wherever you referenced the ID 001 in the child table. So that is the case 4. Now, update the child key. So is that possible to update the child key without updating the parent key ID? So for example, as we are referred 001 from the parent table to the child table, so without updating the ID 001 in the parent table, if I try to update ID 001 in the child table, that is not possible. Why? Because the basic condition for the foreign key is whenever the ID value exists in the parent table, then only we can insert in the child table. So if you want to update it, if that particular key exists in the parent table, yes, we can do that. But whatever the updated value is that does not exist in the parent key means we can't do that updations. So that is the case 3. Update child foreign key to invalid values. For example, of course, if you compare with the previous case, like update child key with the valid values and update the child key, foreign key with the invalid values. With the valid values means if the value whatever you want to update already exists in the parent table, then yes, we can do that. But some invalid values, for example, in the parent table already we are having the IDs like 001 and 002. Now initially we are referencing the 001 in the child table. If you try to update 001 of the child table as some 007 or 008 which does not exist in the parent table ID value, so we can't do such type of updation. So this is not a valid statement, like updating the child foreign key to invalid values. Now update child foreign key to null value. So is that possible to update child foreign key value to the null value or not? For example, here I want to set this particular value as a null value. Is that possible or not? Yes, this is a valid statement. Yes, we can do that. So this is the particular statement is a valid statement. Now, so finally, based on these observations, so why we need to create a foreign key means, so initially when we are maintaining the data in the tables, so there is a possibility of redundancy or duplication of the data in the table, and because of that duplication of the data, there is a possibility to get some different types of anomalies, particularly updation anomalies as we have seen. So to avoid these redundancy and the updation anomalies in the table, just as a part of normalization, yes, we are splitting the tables into different set of tables. When we are doing that, dividing the tables into the different set of tables, yes, we are referring some key value as a foreign key from other table, like other tables primary key. So to solve these problems, yes, we are using some set of rules as a part of the foreign key. So with respect to the insertion, deletion and updation as we are discussed. So with respect to the foreign key constraints, so these are the things for today's sessions. Thank you.